What does it take to finally get results with your horse? Tell me if this is you. You want to do something very special for yourself, right? Maybe you've worked a full-time job in the past. Maybe you've had family commitments, family responsibilities, but you remember how it was to have horses, maybe when you're younger or a few years earlier. You remember what it was like, right? You remember the freedom that you really enjoyed, and that was so important to you because you were doing something that was really enjoyable. But you're stuck. Now you're worried. You're constantly worrying if you're doing the right thing with your horse. So I'm going to share with you what it takes for a rider to finally start to get results with their horse. So hi, my name is Chris Adderson, and I'm the founder of the Harmony for the Horse online riders program. And if you want to get more of these trainings and get notified, then you can click on the bell icon. So this is what I mean by real results. When I say real results, I mean that you're connecting with your horse as a partner. So you're looking for the partnership. And you want to have a partner who has a say in the whole conversation and the dialogue that you're going to make with your horse. You also want to work with your horse in a way that nourishes you, feels good to you. It doesn't pull you down daily, but it feeds you and it makes sense to you. You're on a path to reach also the highest levels that you can in the equine pursuit of your choice. Right? So it's not one with the other, without the other. You're looking for the partnership, you're looking for the nourishment, but you're also looking for wonderful results in your equine pursuit. Number one is you want to find the source of what's holding you back. You need to find the source of that. Now, I want to give you an example of a student who is in our program that we're working with. And before she joined our program, this is what the situation was like. This is what was happening. So her kids brought her back into horses, right? She had horses when she was a teenager and into her early 20s, and then she went and got into a career and pursued work, and then she now is at a place where she has, older kids that really want to do horses. So her kids got her back into horses. That's what happened. As she was getting back into this, she realized that she had certain beliefs from her earlier years with horses that didn't sit very well with her anymore. She started to do research. So she went on the internet, did a lot of research. That's when she found us. And she found what resonated with her, right? The people and the program and everything else, and the approach and what made sense to her. But when it came down to doing it, and this is before she joined our program, when it actually came down to doing it, she said no. So she said no. She knew the quality. She knew what she was getting into. She knew the value and she knew everything about it. She could see it. But what she didn't have that she needed to start getting results was that she didn't believe in herself. All right, so she was lacking self-worth. It takes a lot of worthiness to invest in your education, to invest in yourself, to invest in your horse, and to really commit to getting results with your horse. It takes a lot of worthiness. And I know I've come from that place too. And so I saw this in our student, and we helped her to get through that. We helped her to get through that lack of self-worth because she wasn't believing in herself. So how was she ever going to possibly get results with her horse? If she didn't believe in herself, her horse definitely wasn't going to believe in her. And so what's the result of that? This can be, whether you want to go up to the highest levels of dressage, or maybe you just want to go hacking or trail riding, it still applies. These things still apply because if you're struggling with lack of self-worth, it will hold you back. It will keep you stuck. And if you really look at it, if you look at it with a clear lens, you can see that even going on a trail ride is dangerous. Being around horses is dangerous. There's so much that can happen to, let's say, this rider in our program that I was telling you about, or her children. So she didn't feel that she was worthy, and she didn't even know that she had this issue. So this is where the problem rises, is when a rider doesn't know that they have, or they're struggling with this deep inside themselves, and yet they so desperately want to do it for themselves or for their children, but they don't have the self-worth, or which leads to the confidence. So what we did is we helped her to see what her symptoms, right? And I'm going to tell you what her symptoms were. This is what she came to us with. We helped to see what her symptoms were showing her that was much deeper than that. So these were her symptoms. She was fearful, completely fearful. She had an accident, not related to horses actually, but which made her body feel more frail, right? So she was previously injured, so she was dealing with that memory. She was so fearful about getting hurt that she had that horrible feeling inside her stomach, and she would tremble at the thought of getting on her horse, and actually did not ride. She actually avoided riding her horse. She did everything but riding, but you can still get lots of work done there. She had complaints about riding. Okay, so she, like I said, she said things like, well, it hurts, or I don't have the stamina to ride my horse, or I'm not strong enough, things like that. And then the third thing that she was telling me constantly was that I'm busy, right? I don't have time. I have these expenses in life and these bills to pay off, and I'm meeting the needs of my kids and my husband, my partner, boarders, horse boarders at my barn, construction workers. All these things were just excuses on the surface that we helped her to find what was underneath. So when we did that, and she realized it, and she found what those stories were underneath, this gave her the certainty, and this gave her the confidence, right? To dissolve those hidden stories, get the confidence, articulate the actual true place of where she was at, so that she could finally start to get results with her horse. Because her horse is always there. Her horse is always waiting for her. Her horse was there. He was waiting for her to get this part. And when she finally did have the clarity around this, she started to believe in herself, right? And then she could get the support that she needed. So she became totally energetically on board with this, right? There wasn't the niggling in behind stuff that was stopping her from being on board and really getting the true freedom that she was looking for. And once she could really believe in herself totally, and then her horse started to believe in her, that's when she started to see and to feel like she could do it, right? That she could do it herself without fears. But the key here is that we find out what is beneath that. Those are things that are just on the surface, right? Why should I be fearful of riding now when I wasn't when I was 18 years old, perhaps, right? What is it that's happened between that time and this time? And there are so many things that happen in our lives that cause us to get these subconscious blocks and these muscle memories that just get stuck inside of us and hold us stuck. And this is what we do in our program. If you get a chance to work with us, this is what we do. This is where we start with our riders. Because until you really understand yourself better, then you can't approach your horse in a really holistic way. And so it's a continuous process, isn't it? It's a continuum that we're working on bit by bit, piece by piece. But the key is, like I said, that the awareness behind this. Okay, the next thing that we need to do once we understand ourselves better and the excuses are put off to the side because we've processed them, the next thing we need to do is be clear on our outcome. Okay, so you can't go into being with horses blind, right? You need clarity. You need to be specifically clear of where you want to be with your horse. What do you want to do with your horse? How do you want to do that? Then when you have that kind of clarity, you will have the motivation to carry through with it, right? Because it's one thing to have a dream, it's another thing to actually implement it. But with these two steps that we do in our program, where we help you get the clarity on who you are first, and then the added clarity on what your outcome is, that's what helps you to have the motivation and to finally start getting the results that you're looking for. Because I believe everybody has the potential to do this. It's not a mystery. It's not difficult. It's not easy, but it can be simple. It doesn't need to be so complicated. That's what we do, is we make it simple, because we erase those stories from our background, right? Not erase, but we process them, and we help you to process them and get over them, and then you can carry on. It's not a do-it-yourself, right? Because if this program that we had offered to our student now was a do-it-yourself, so this is what it would look like if our program was a do-it-yourself, as I was saying, because I've seen so many people coming from courses or whatever. So they're spending thousands of dollars on clinics, right? They're trying to figure this all out. And this is what they say. I get things like, I'm right back where I started. I've spent all this money and I'm still not any clearer than I used to be. That's what happens when you don't have support. All right? That's what happens when you don't have support, and riders need support. It's not something you can do it on your own, right? It's not a do it yourself. Take this course and learn how to do 101 pole exercises or whatever, right? So you need support. So you can't go blind into horses, right? You need to know your outcome. You need to know clearly where you are going and what the transformation you are looking for with your horse is. Okay? Because we're looking for those major transformations, not just, right? We take the step-by-step approach and little bit every day. But there will be major transformations in you and your life with your horse. And this is what we need to have to get the results that we so want and we were waiting for finally to get. So if you want the support to get to your actual finish line, to get to your outcome, and to get the results that really matter to you, that will create the deepest of transformation in your life and your horse's life, then click on the link that you see somewhere around this video. That you can copy and paste or click on the link, and that will take you to a place where you can book a call with us so we can see how our program can help you and how we can best help you to get to that finish line that you're looking for. All right, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.